Hey friends, Ash here with Gents, coming at you guys with the fragrance review today. Today we're taking a look at this one, Ginger Lover by Azzaro. Did a first impression on this one maybe a week or so ago. Been giving it some wear since then and decided it deserved its own review. And I might actually do a review for each one of those three fragrances in that line that I did a first impression on. The other two being Amber Fever and Wild Mint. So Ginger Lover. Is this a fragrance that's made for people that really, really love redheads? No, or at least I don't think so. It's made for people that like ginger. Yeah. In this video, I'm gonna go over the presentation with you, like always. Break this one down a little bit for you, let you know how it smells, let you know kind of how this fragrance comes across, and let you know if I think it's something that you should pick up or not. And spoiler, you can probably tell by the title of the video what I think about it. So let's jump into this and check out Ginger Lover. All right guys, first off, let's take a look at this presentation. First off, quick look at the box. Azzaro Pour Homme Ginger Lover. On the top, you have the Azzaro logo. Nothing doing on the sides. On the back, you have a promotional photo of this bottle. And each one of these boxes in this line looks the same, save for the coloration and the picture on the back. And then on the bottom is where you'll find your badge code. And here's a look at the bottle. This is your typical Azzaro Pour Homme bottle style. This one has a gradient where it goes darker at the top, lighter at the bottom. Nothing on top of the cap, nothing on the back. And then on the bottom is where you'll find your badge code. The cap does click into place, and I'll go ahead and waste the spray for you guys here so you can see how the atomizer is. There we go. As of now, there are 5 fragrances in this line. There's Ginger Lover, the 2 that I talked about before, Amber Fever and Wild Mint, and then there's also Naughty Leather and Hot Pepper, which I don't own yet. Some of the names of the fragrances in the line come across pretty well. You know, Wild Mint, that makes sense. Other ones like Ginger Lover and Naughty Leather, not the greatest thing that Azzaro has ever done, at least in terms of naming. One of the best things about this line of fragrances is that you can pick them up at discounters for under 30 bucks, which is a great price, assuming the fragrance is up to snuff. Obviously, each one of the fragrances centers around a specific note. This one, ginger. And this one does have a bunch of ginger in it. Surprise, surprise, if you love ginger, you'll love Ginger Lover. Captain Obvious over here. So this one opens up with a sweet, sparkling ginger. It's got that kind of effervescent pop that ginger will often have in modern men's fragrances, which smells great, extremely appealing, something that works. I mean, that's why you're gonna find ginger used in so many men's fragrances. You've got a fresh lime in there, so you've got that tried and tested and true ginger citrus combo right off the top. There's also a little bit of green cardamom in the opening, so it's very, 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 very slightly dusty, but a fresh take on cardamom initially. This does not break any new ground off the top. It's, like I said, tried, tested, true ginger and citrus, but it smells great. Really, 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 really nice. It actually reminds me a little bit of Tiffany in Love for Him in the opening. It's not the exact same as that fragrance, but it does make sense that it would have a similarity to Tiffany in Love for Him because that fragrance also has ginger, also has cardamom, and instead of lime, that one has orange, but those notes are working together in Tiffany in Love for Him, much in the same way that they are here in Ginger Lover. Tiffany in Love for Him is a fragrance that I love the opening to it. I think it's really appealing, really attention grabbing. It just kind of fades a little bit down the stretch. But since I do love the Tiffany in Love for Him opening, you can guess, and as I've already said, love the opening here too in Ginger Lover. Some people are gonna call it generic, sure, and is it anything trying to be artistic? No, but is it really enjoyable, really pleasant, and are people going to like this? 99.9% of people, yeah, they sure are. Pretty quickly, the effervescent, sparkly kind of facet to the ginger and Ginger Lover starts to take a step back, starts to fade away a little bit. The ginger doesn't, just the sparkly aspect of it. And then you start to get almost a slightly creamy sweetness that comes in as the fragrance heads into the mid, which is going to be coming from tonka. So you've got the ginger, the citrus working together still in the mid, and then that creamy sort of sweetness underneath it. The dustiness from the cardamom, that fades away. I can only pick that up in the initial opening, and it's not strong. I mean, it's something that you're gonna have to really root around for to pick up that dusty aspect to the cardamom, so don't let that worry you at all. Really, that's just me nitpicking when I bring that up in the opening. And the cardamom that's in here is not an intrusive cardamom. It's not trying to be at the forefront of the fragrance. It just works in alongside the ginger and the citrus and the tonka. It just lends this little bit of sweet spiciness to the scent. And there's really not a huge amount of change as this one settles into the mid. This is not a highly complicated fragrance. This isn't something where you're gonna pick up a whole bunch of different nuances as the fragrance dries down. It changes from the opening into the mid in the sense that that kind of sparkle fades away a little bit and you start to get that creamy sweetness from the tonka. But through the mid, there's not a whole heck of a lot of change here. It's pretty simple. About an hour to an hour and a half in, I pick up some soft cedar in the fragrance. So a little bit of woodiness in there, but not too much. It never becomes a focal point of the fragrance. Ultimately, it still is centered around the ginger, surprise, surprise. And when you hit the dry down, and I'm talking the far dry down after it's been on your skin for hours, it becomes centered more around vetiver. So it's kind of like a dry, grassy vetiver. You've got an ever so slight touch of ginger and tonka in the dry down along with that vetiver, which is pretty soft at that point. And that's pretty much it as far as Ginger Lover goes. So you've got mainly ginger, a little bit of green cardamom and lime in the opening. As it heads into the mid, you get a little bit of creamy tonka. Some of the sparkle from the ginger fades away. That little touch of dustiness from the cardamom fades away. And yeah, get a little bit of cedar. And then in the dry down, bit of vetiver to go along with that ginger, remnants of the citrus, and a little bit of tonka and spiciness from cardamom. As I said, pretty simple fragrance. They're not really trying to break new ground, not trying to be super artistic, just trying to make something people pleasing, and they succeeded. Under 30 bucks, heck of a deal. This, even though it's not in a blue bottle, is a blue type of fragrance in the sense that it's very versatile, people pleasing, and compliment pulling. At no point in Ginger Lover's fragrance lifespan from the opening to the mid to the dry down does it come across even a shred offensive. This is completely 100% inoffensive. Now, some people are going to, again, say that it's boring or generic or whatever, but for me, it just smells good. And sometimes I want a fragrance that just smells good, that other people are gonna like, and this does that 10 times out of 10. One of the big drawbacks with some of these fragrances, blue fragrances, very versatile fragrances, especially ones centered around ginger or ginger and citrus in the opening, is that they might not have great performance. And this one actually is surprisingly good off of my skin. If I spray this on just a couple times here, a couple times here, and maybe once or twice up here, so we're talking 5 to 6 sprays, lasts over 8 hours without issue. And really 9 hours, 10 hours in, I can still smell where the fragrance is. It's a skin scent, but it's still there. And that's a lot better than a bunch of other fragrances that are going to be kind of in this category. Tiffany in Love for Him, the one that I compared to the opening of this one, Ginger Lover, is a fragrance that kind of peters out pretty quickly. It's got a nice opening, attention grabbing, and then suddenly it's gone. It's just barely there on your skin, 4 hours in. This one doubles up on that easily. Now, projection is not monstrous. It's not quite as good as the longevity is, but it's still above average for me. It's best in the first hour to hour and a half. After that, it starts to sit closer to your skin once that cedar starts to come out and kind of lay a soft, woody base. One thing I really love about Ginger Lover is that it retains that ginger citrus combo that I've mentioned a million times now that so many people love for a much greater amount of time than most fragrances do that utilize that combo. So a lot of times fragrances will use that ginger and a citrus, whether it's lime, bergamot, grapefruit, orange, whatever. And they'll use that to grab your attention. And then 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes later, it's faded away, and then you have woods or ambroxan or incense or whatever. With this one though, it just really concentrates on that and tries to make it last for as long as it can, and it does a pretty good job at that. As far as seasons go, for me, spring and summer is going to be the best time to wear this. It does have that versatility that I've talked about a few times now, that blue fragrance versatility, if you want to call it that. So you could wear it in the winter, you could wear it in the fall. It's just the way this one comes across, fresh, sweet, inviting, a little bit uplifting. To me, it's better for spring and summer. And as far as daytime or nighttime, for me, more a daytime fragrance. Though you can wear it during the night as well, because it does have that complement factor, that versatility, that likability. So if you're going out at night, you could reach for that one as well. Now, as far as which blue fragrances I would slot this one in with, Tiffany and Love for Him, obviously, which I brought up. Maybe Dylan Blue, something like that, but this obviously has no incense. It doesn't try to go with some heavier base notes to round things off. This one really wants to stick with the ginger, the citrus, a little bit of cardamom, because the woods that come in here are on the softer side. They're not heavy, they're not dense. So maybe Dylan Blue, with the understanding that this one is concentrating more on like the top and the mid of a lot of these other blue fragrances and trying to stretch that out with a soft wooden base. And it's not really an Invictus style fragrance either. It doesn't have that bubblegummy type sweetness. So any of that style of blue fragrance, that's not what this is. It is though a big potential compliment getter, compliment puller, just like all of those modern men's fragrances that have used this DNA in the past. It's tried, it's tested, it's true. As I've said a couple of times already, it works. People like it. It's easy to wear. That's what this is. And the fact that it's under 30 bucks with solid performance and a pretty nice presentation too makes this one a big winner for me personally. This is one of those inexpensive fragrances that you grab, spray, and go in spring and summer. People are gonna like it. It's just hard to hate unless you are the type of person that loves fragrance as art and only art, or somebody that likes really high-end niche fragrances, indie fragrances, stuff like that. This may be boring to you, but for most people out there, they're gonna love it. And my wife actually loves it as well. She's already commented on this one a couple of times and said that it smells great, and that's good enough for me. So there we go, guys. Azzaro Pour Homme Ginger Lover. This one, attention grabbing, under 30 bucks, good performance. I really like it, very solid. And it comes in the classic Azzaro Pour Homme bottle style, which I dig too. Throwback to that old school Azzaro Pour Homme barbershop greatness. Just talking about the bottle there of this fragrance itself. This one has nothing to do really with the original Azzaro Pour Homme. All right guys, that's gonna do it for me with Ginger Lover. I'll be taking a look at the other two that I bought sometime in the near future, Wild Mint and Amber Fever. This one to me just really grabbed my attention as one of those versatile all occasion sort of scents, so I wanted to cover that one first. If you smelled this one or any of the others in the line, let me know what you think about them. As always, thanks so much for your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.